page 8. Trevelyan, who lived immediately next door, still wore his hair childishly long and was years removed from the sideburns and thin reddish mustache that he would grow as soon as he was physiologically capable of it. Trevelyan, to whom George was then known as Georgie, said, "Bet you're scared." "I am not," said George. Then confidentially, "My folks got a hunk of printing up on the dresser in my room, and when I come home, I'm going to read it for them." George's main suffering at the moment lay in the fact that he didn't quite know where to put his hands. He had been warned not to scratch his head or rub his ears or pick his nose or put his hands into his pockets. This eliminated almost every possibility. Trevelyan put his hands in his pockets and said, "My father isn't worried." Trevelyan Sr. had been a metallurgist on Diporia for nearly 7 years, which gave him a superior social status in his neighborhood, even though he had retired and returned to Earth. Earth discouraged these re-immigrants because of the population problems, but a small trickle did return. For one thing, the cost of living was lower on Earth, and what was a trifling annuity on Diporia, say, when was a comfortable income on Earth. Besides, there were always men who found more satisfaction in displaying their success before their friends and scenes of their childhood than before the rest of the universe besides. Trevelyan Sr. further explained that if he had stayed on Diporia, so would his children, and Diporia was a one-spaceship world. Back on Earth, his kids could end up anywhere, even Novia. Stubby Trevelyan had picked that item early. Even before reading day, his conversation was based on the carelessly assumed fact that his ultimate home would be in Novia. George, oppressed by the thoughts of the other's future greatness and his own small-time contrast, was driven belligerent defense at once. "My father isn't worried either. He just wants to hear me read because he knows I'll be good. I suppose your father would just as soon not hear you because he knows you'll be all wrong." "I will not be all wrong. Reading is nothing. On Novia, I'll hire people to read to me." "Because you won't be able to read yourself on account that you're dumb." "Then how come I'll be on Novia?" And George, driven to make the great denial. "Who says you'll be on Novia? Bet you don't go anywhere." Stubby Trevelyan reddened. "I won't be a pipe fitter like your old man." "Take that back, you dumbhead." "You take that back." They stood nose to nose, not wanting to fight, but relieved at having something familiar to do in this strange place. Furthermore, now that George had curled his hands into fists and lifted them before his face, the problem of what to do with his hands was, at least temporarily, solved. Other children gathered around excitedly. But then it all ended when a woman's voice sounded loudly over the public address system. There was an instant silence,